I'm just so lost for words after that. Watford 2, Arsenal 2. Yeah, really, honestly, I don't know what to say to that. There are so many things wrong with this Arsenal team in the moment, particularly the defence. The defence is the first thing that just needs to be completely stripped back and deconstructed. I'm so disappointed with not just how this game has gone, but how the defence has performed throughout the entirety of this season. I know it's only been 4 games, and apart from that clean sheet against Newcastle, I'm dumbfounded that Emery has stuck with a partnership of David Luiz and Socrates. Because let's be honest, both of these players, Socrates was brought in last summer as a stopgap. Luiz has been brought in this summer as a stopgap. We've got 2 players, David Luiz 32, Socrates 31. I'm not saying that's old for defenders by any means, but 2 experienced stopgap players that just aren't good enough for where we need to be. I mean, Socrates, the error for Watford's goal, if his name was Mustafi, the abuse he would be getting. We blame Mustafi for those errors he had last season, and he was at the back end of so many horrible comments, to be honest. And if Socrates is going to make those same errors, then you can't help but think surely he's possibly headed in the direction of Mustafi being exiled from the squad. And you've got to say, as much as I thought Mustafi was dreadful at times last season, maybe it's only fair to give him a go if our current centre-backs are making these mistakes. It is so poor. Luiz giving away another penalty. 3rd penalty we've given away in as many games. 96 shots we've conceded on goal, which is throughout the entire Premier League season so far. So that is more than any team has conceded in the Bundesliga, in La Liga, in the Premier League. It's so bad. It's so bad. The mentality of this team is just all over the place, and I do think that stems down from the manager in the way that he makes some of his decisions. And I think the first thing to clear up is I'm not going to be in the camp of I want Emery out after 4 games, but I definitely think it's worth bringing some of his decision making into question. I thought those 3 substitutions he made within such quick succession of each other were just with complete they were so lacking in thought, is what I'm trying to say. They just had no inspiration, no idea behind them, whereas you look at Watford, who, yes, they're going into this game with a new manager, and they've got that effect where they want to play up for the new guy, and this game was always going to be difficult. I mean, Watford have had 2 heavy defeats at home already, to West Ham, to Brighton. They've got the new guy in, they obviously want to perform for him, and this game was going to be made difficult for us regardless of the personnel that were on the pitch for us. But those substitutions that Watford made compared to the ones we made, the way they changed the game compared to the substitutions we brought on in Nelson, Willock and Torreira. We brought on players that you would, apart from Torreira maybe, players that you'd want to bring on when we're comfortably winning the game, not at such a potent and important time in the match. So I've got to be asking questions as to why those substitutions were made. I didn't understand them. The other thing that I still can't get my head around, and I know a lot of people don't particularly rate Callum Chambers, and that's fine, we're all of our own opinion here, but you can't seriously tell me that Callum Chambers is any worse than one of David Luiz and Socrates. You can't tell me that. I will not believe you. And given that we kept a clean sheet on the opening day and Callum Chambers put in, I thought, a very, very good performance, I'd love to have seen him build on that, and I definitely wouldn't have had any problems with him starting in the North London derby against Liverpool, and I without doubt want him to start against Aston Villa, because Socrates, given the mistake away first and foremost, I mean, Guendouzi could have been guilty of that mistake as well. We should have definitely, if Deeney had started, we'd have conceded in that first 20 minutes. Let's have it right. And if he was playing as well, then we'd have conceded in that last 10 minutes. We've been quite fortunate to actually get a point out of this game. That's how bad it was. Seriously bad. Yeah, so I definitely want to see Chambers start, and I just think it's mental that after what was a very positive opening day performance against Newcastle, he's just not even come close to being in the team, and it seems that we're going to downgrade him to the Europa League, which I think is completely out of order on his part. If we want to play this out the back sort of style, what was he doing at Fulham last year under a manager that wanted to play that way? He's got experience in midfield, he's got experience in defence. I think now at 24 years old, I'd much rather have him in this side ahead of David Luiz and Socrates. Chelsea have just got to be laughing at us at the minute. They've promoted this new guy, Tomori. They've got 8 million for David Luiz. They're scoring goals for fun with Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount. We got 2 goals today. but we didn't really create much else. Let's be honest. The goals from Aubameyang, clinical, really good. That second goal that we scored as well, by the way, brilliant through ball from Mesut Ozil to Maitland-Niles, and then Maitland-Niles putting it on a plate for Aubameyang to make it 2-0. And the first goal, instinctive, Kolasinac playing the ball through, Aubameyang on the spin, putting it into the back of the net to make it 1-0 at that point. Really good instinctive goals, but apart from that, I can't honestly think of many chances we created. Nelson had a half chance when he came on, and I thought he struggled when he came on, to be honest. I think I'm still trying to really get my head around Reiss Nelson. I think I've got to see him play for 90 minutes, probably against a lesser opponent, to really give him some confidence. I still think there's a really good player in there, but I want to see him for 90 minutes, probably against Frankfurt on Thursday night. And Pepe, I think, made a lot of positive signs in this game, but lacks the end product as per. And I think it's really important now more than ever that he gets a goal or an assist or something. I think it's essential that happens. I still think, I know there's a lot of people that are questioning him so early on, which is crazy. But I still think that he does need to get that goal just to instill some belief in him. But I mean, it's just. It wasn't individuals today. It was just collectively. It was so all over the place as well. I mean, obviously it was about individuals as well, with two of our centre halves giving the key goals away. But as well, I mean, there's issues all over the pitch really. Right back, we definitely need to bring in a new right back. In January, probably would be the best time to do that. Or next summer if we want to look long term. I mean, I am not of the opinion that Maitland-Niles is a right back, and I don't think he's a sustainable option to have as an understudy to Hector Bellerin, who is coming back from a long-term injury and could well face possibly another spell on the sidelines at some point this season or in the future. I think that's a given probably. Maitland-Niles is not the guy to provide good cover at right back. He's not a right back. And I thought he had a really poor game today. So he's had some good games at right back. Let's not skew that opinion at all. I think he's had some very positive games at right back, but he's just not a long-term option there. And I think if you look at the teams in the league, they've always got, around us in the league, they've not just got entirely better defences than us, but they've got good options in every position. And we don't have that really. I think the midfield and the team lineup today was exciting. I'll completely hold my hands up and say that I thought Emery was being pragmatic, was being positive with the team. In the absence of Lacazette, we saw Dani Ceballos start, we saw Mesut Ozil start. I was very surprised to see both those two start. Guendouzi remained in the team, and I thought he didn't really emulate the performance he had against Spurs. Granit Xhaka, I thought, was our best midfielder, to be honest. I know that he, in the dying ends of the game, put that absolutely awful ball in that just went straight back to Watford's team, and we were in a really good position. But he was the best of a bad bunch, to be honest. I thought he did well. Dani Ceballos, I thought he did some very, very good things. Struggled at times, I thought. To be honest, I can talk about individuals all day long, but for me, this is just a collective mess. And I'm not feeling too great about a manager that would rather win games 4-3 than win them 1-0. Because if you've got a guy that wants to win 1-0, then we see the game out today quite comfortably, rather than be exposed to the calamity that it was in the end. And I'm really excited about having a manager that wants to play expansive, exciting football, but I haven't seen that yet, and that's concerning me. I think I've seen it at times and in glimpses, and I'm worried because we've got very good personnel and they're not quite working in the way that I would like to see them work. And that does concern me, to be honest. And I think Emery's got to be praised for the young players he's brought through, giving Willock a chance, giving Nelson a chance, playing Maitland-Niles regularly. But as well, I think he does have to come under some scrutiny. And I think we're going to see a lot more performances like this throughout the course of the season. And I don't think we'll be coming away with a point in some of them. But I think if we're going to persist with this centre-back partnership, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be really, really horrible. I'm not getting behind those two at centre-half. I think it's crazy that Emery sees those two as the strongest option at centre-half, because it's so far from that. They are both calamitous players at times. And I'm all for David Luiz's passing range, playing out from the back, but he's a centre-half that can't really do the defensive side of things, which is pretty important at that part of the pitch. So I'm very worried. And I am very worried. And I mean, we've started this season with 8 points from a possible 15. We've played Spurs and Liverpool already. We've had a couple of tough away games, this one included. But at the end of the day, we came up against a Watford side that were without a key man in Troy Deeney. They're currently bottom of the league. And they've overrun us and should have got the win. And that's embarrassing. And they've had so many more shots on target than us. We were raving about the thought of Lacazette, Aubameyang, Pepe, Danny Ceballos, Mesut Ozil all being part of this Arsenal team. But that attack should really give me the belief that we're going to dominate these sort of games against teams that are at the bottom end of the table. And I know it's very early days, but it's very concerning that we're not able to dominate the game with those players on the pitch. And that does leave me asking questions of the manager. But the only way we can get through this is to win that game against Frankfurt on Thursday night. And James has to start that game, and I want to see him put in a really strong performance and get into that team next Sunday against Aston Villa. He has to start that game. I do not want to see Socrates and David Luiz playing in the same team together. I'm all for one of them starting alongside someone like Callum James or Rob Holding. And as the season progresses, hopefully we can transition away from Socrates and Luiz entirely and go to Chambers and Holding. I know that's a massive long shot, but it's something that I think I'd be very open to happening. It can't be any worse than what we've seen so far this season. But we need to bring in a centre-half in January or next summer. It's got to be priority number one. But the mentality issues that we've seen for so many years now are evidently still in this Arsenal team. Individual mistakes from idiotic defending that we've seen time after time over the past couple of seasons. It's to be 2-0 up away from home against the bottom of the league Watford side to then get it down to 2-2 is just laughable. It's so laughable. Any other team in the league doesn't do that. Bournemouth don't do that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments box below. Really interested to hear what you guys have got to say on this one. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll be back in a couple of days with my preview for the game against Frankfurt. See you later, guys.